We're waiting for other commissioners to join us, but they'll join the meeting in progress. Administrator Kluge, would you please call the roll of commissioners present? We're waiting for other commissioners to join us.
Chair Arthur?
But they'll join the meeting in progress. Administrator Kluge, would you please call the roll? I hear an echo.
Yeah, I think we have a feedback loop problem.
Does someone have their cell phone on?
Chair Arthur, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So Chair Arthur's here.
Yes.
Sangri?
Yes.
Dude?
Did you hear yes?
Yes.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
I see your face now. Welcome.
Who's here?
Perfect. Commissioner Leek?
Here.
Commissioner O'Connor?
Present.
Commissioner Bates? I don't believe has logged on yet. And Commissioner Poinsett also has not logged on yet.
While we do have a quorum of commissioners present, I wanted to thank the commissioners who participated in last night's joint meeting of the DRC and Planning Commission to discuss an early draft of the city's revised urban and community forestry plan. And I appreciated the attendance and participation of everyone who could take part. I thought it was informative and some good suggestions and ideas were exchanged. And we're delighted tonight to recognize and welcome City Councilor Aaron Raff, who's returning to us, I understand, as our City Councilor liaison, who he previously did an earlier tour of duty, and now he's come back to us. So welcome.
Welcome.
With the city.
Nice to see you all. Yeah, I think I had DRC my first year, so that was 3 years ago, and I loved it so much. Like Evan, it draws me back.
Do you draw names out of a hat or do you sign up?
No, the mayor assigns people. I mean, I'm sure we could ask for assignments, but we can't do assignments, the same assignment concurrently. So we'd have to rotate. So as much as I love DRC, I couldn't come back in year 2, so only year 3. So
there you go.
Back. What's your update from the city? What's going on?
Yeah, I don't know if you all knew, but we had a nasty storm.
Did we?
Hopefully, you all survived. It looks like everybody survived here on this screen, and hopefully, with relative little damage, if at all, and maybe you just had power out. We had power out for 3 days, but luckily no trees fell. But it was pretty gnarly, as you all know. So our last city council meeting, we kind of got an update from Director Erica Rooney, to give us an update on just what happened, how it happened, and what the city was doing to fix the issues that we were having and the cleanup. So I'll give you a quick rundown with that. I'm sure you've probably already read the articles in the LR Review, but some of the big hitters were, getting a lot of questions from people of, oh, why didn't we plow the roads and sand the roads after the first ice storm? The reality was plows couldn't drive with trees blocking the road. So we had to get rid of the trees first, and became quite to use a wine term, a meritage of problems that all came together. So a lot of old trees came down, a lot of very healthy trees came down. So it's one of those things. I'm sure Evan loves this, but most of the time we hear from people to stop that we cut too many trees down. That's usually what we hear. Now we're hearing that we don't cut enough trees down. So you just can never win, I guess. And so, but the fact remains, the issue is that the wind was so weird and so nasty that it was toppling these massive, very healthy trees. And so, but the cities and the staff did an amazing job helping citizens who needed to shut their water off and didn't know how. Unfortunately, we had a member of our community who did not survive the storm, and that was unfortunate. But our city staff, which is really only 10 people, we're out in force day and night, helping our community kind of get back up on their feet. But one thing it has that has resonated with us on the city council is, to continue our work steadfastly around emergency preparedness and helping our communities and our community members around the idea of emergency preparedness. But what that doesn't mean is we're not here to take care of everybody, make sure everybody's safe. We're not going to bring you water. We got an email from a citizen who's thought, why isn't the city bringing us water? Like buckets of water. That's not what we do. So when we talk about emergency preparedness, there are things the city can do to make sure that things are taken care of, like warming shelters are open when they have power. We make sure the plows are, making sure people can drive and things like that, and power stays on and those things. But then there's a responsibility on the individual citizen to make sure they're also individually prepared to take care of the loved ones they have when the city can't come to their rescue. So it was a hairy week and a half, but hopefully the weather starts warming up. Other than
Question.
that, yes, go ahead, Helen.
So who does cut down the trees? Is that the maintenance department, or is that engineering? Who's the hero here who did all this work?
Everybody. I mean, you can't name one group of city staff, but we have city operations is the one that's there to work with getting trees removed from public pathways and roads. The challenge that we had during the storm, and the reason why some of us had power out longer than others, was this city staff cannot, if the tree is touching a power line or leaning on a power line, the city staff is not allowed to touch that tree until PGE comes to partner on the project. So if PGE is over in North Portland doing something, we have to wait to get the tree off our power line until someone from PGE is there. And so that was also I don't want to say a comedy of errors, but just, everything needs to align to get one tree off a power line. And it's not as easy as just cutting it down. But our city operations team are the ones that are getting that tree down and removed. And then it's a matter of cleaning up, which is then, our own staff removing trees in the stumps or all the debris, and or hiring third-party vendors to come and do the same. As you've driven around town the last couple of days, you see arborists and monkey mans, the people down on Boone's Ferry, they're everywhere cleaning up everything. So it's going to take a while, but it was certainly a Herculean effort on everybody's part of the city staff. And they did amazing. I mean, they didn't sleep.
They did a great job, I thought.
If you see Martha, give her a hug. She was up 24/7 she didn't sleep for maybe 5 days, and then she came down with a pretty gnarly cold and flu thing because of it. So we're very lucky to have her.
Yes.
We had Randy, you were there, and I think some of you were also there. We had the Boards and Commissions Summit week before last, and that was amazing. We got a lot of good stuff out of there, especially now that we're going to go into our goal setting session. It was supposed to be this last weekend, but because of the storm, we had to push it out. And then the last piece of update that I'm going to give is before the Boards and Commissions update. So 2 weeks ago, I think it was, at our city council meeting, we had we got a overview of our community survey results, and I don't know how many of you have dug into that yet, but it was pretty impressive. The overall broad happiness of being a Lake Oswegan. It warms my heart because I'm a Lake Oswegan too, and it's just nice to know that overwhelmingly people love living here and love what they have available to them. We asked, and that goes across the board, from community safety to opportunities for our kids to library services to fire and safety, all the different elements. And I think it was Councillor Wendland that asked the consultant who did the survey, hey, how do we compare? How does a city like Lake Oswego compare to other cities? And I think Lake Oswego had something around like an average of 95% like happiness rating of people that live here, which is, you know, it's great, but what does that mean to the rest of the country? And he said the most happy cities in the country, you know, not disregard size, but they average like 40%, and that's considered very happy. And so, yeah, we over-indexed a little bit. So now, Councilor Mboop brought up a great point. Is okay, we're doing really well. So how do we find those minuscule little, you know, adjustments that we can make to get 1% more? Or, you know, now it's a game of inches, right? So how do we make those differences? So yeah, over the last couple of weeks, some really great stuff. A horrible storm, and now we go into goal setting, which is gonna be a lot of fun. Yeah, and I'm open to questions. So,
You know, I think with the storm, and it's very recent in everyone's memories, and it was going to be here a while with trees that are still leaning over people's houses. But it's really a good year to push on the emergency preparedness. And I really believe it's probably an 80-20 type relationship. 80% is the homeowners having the food, the water, maybe a generator, a place that they could go, a neighbor if they lose their power. And 20% is the city, you know, obviously cleaning the trees from the road, cleaning the streets. I mean, I look at it, we had a snow plow up here, we got sanded 3 times, but when you have a glaze of ice,
doesn't do much.
it doesn't do much for you, but that's okay.
Yeah.
That's just life. This is an act of God. It wasn't
Yeah.
any that, I mean, I ended up, I had a lot of neighbors who, because we didn't have power, left here. And I basically took care of 5 houses.
Yeah, we had we farmed our kids out to other people, their friends' houses for like 4 days. Because I mean, look, when I was a kid, power went out, I read a book. That's all we could do, right? Unfortunately, my kids have iPhones and Xboxes that they somehow cannot live without. And so when, you know, the power came out, they freaked out hard. So we just like, thankfully we have great neighbors who had power, and they're like, yeah, we'll take your kid for 3 days. So, but yeah, it's everyone's responsibility. You know, the city is there to take care of the basic needs, water, you know, power, things like that. But everybody also needs to take ownership. And one thing Russ, I want to mention about trees that I should have brought up, that one thing, if you guys want to continue passing the message around, if people and our neighbors have trees that have fallen in their yard, they do not need to get a permit from the city to get that chopped up and removed. Okay. If the tree is on their property, by the way, it's their responsibility, not the city's responsibility to take it away. But if it's fallen, they're free to get that removed on their own any way they want. If the tree is like falling or leaning against something, it hasn't fallen yet, they are free to get it removed without a permit. They just need to apply for a retroactive permit. So just make sure they take pictures of everything, and then after they remove it, they can then apply for the permit, and it's fine. If the tree is standing, then it's same old process as usual. But so if you guys want to pass that, anybody you talk to, if I ask you questions, we're trying to make it very easy on people to kind of clean up everything. So
How
Yeah,
long
that's
will
great.
the Westlake debris depot be going on?
I mean, I think it's good. We're going to be cleaning up for several more weeks. We haven't gotten an update yet on how long they think it'll be, but if you just drive around, I mean, it's been what, 4 days?
I know,
or
but
so.
will you keep that facility open for homeowners who have trees that are being removed so they can dump the debris there?
Let me ask. I'll find out.
Supposedly it was last weekend, but that was wrong. And they said it's through this weekend. But I think with the number of trees and things down, there's not enough contractors to get it done by the end of this weekend. So I would push to have it open for at least another week.
Sure. I'll check in.
Thank
I'll check on it.
Commissioners, any other comments or questions of Councilor Rath? Well, thank you very much for that update. It's good to have you with us, and
Glad to be back.
we appreciate your participation.
All
And
right.
Commissioner
Bye.
Bates,
With anything you need, you guys have my email.
all right. Thank you very much.
See ya.
Take-
Night.
Thank you.
Night.
As I started to mention, Commissioner Bates has now joined us. Welcome. And our next agenda item is the review and approval of the minutes of the January 3rd, 2024 meeting of the DRC. A draft set of minutes has been circulated in advance of our meeting for commissioner review. Commissioners, are there any suggested revisions to the draft minutes?
This is Dwight Sangre. I'll move acceptance of the minutes.
I'll
I
second
second.
it.
All in favor, say yes.
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 Any opposed? Any abstaining? Very good. The minutes of the January 3rd, 2024 DRC meeting are approved as submitted. Now we turn to findings on LU 23-0002. This is a request for the approval of a serial lot line adjustment or series of adjustments resulting in 5 residential lots, 2 of which are flag lots. The application includes an unavoidable utility or sewer crossing of a delineated resource protection district, a class 2 wetland, and as you may recall, also includes the removal of 43 trees. The staff coordinator is Ellen Davis, senior planner, and Ms. Davis is with us tonight. And we have 2 items, City Attorney Boone. Should we address the order on evidence first?
Yes.
Very good. We had some evidentiary questions at our last hearing, and we voted as you may recall, and as reflected in the draft order on evidence. A draft order on evidence for LU 23-0002 has been circulated in advance for our review before this meeting. Commissioners, are there changes to the draft order on evidence for LU 23-0002?
I move that we accept the changes.
I would
I
second that.
second.
Very good. The motion is to approve the order on evidence as drafted. And it's been seconded. All in favor say yes or aye.
Yes.
Aye.
Yes.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? Very good. The order on evidence as submitted has been approved. Excuse me, was there comment on that?
Oh, Commissioner Bates, I'm sorry. Did you vote on that one?
Yes, I said aye.
But you weren't there.
You were not present at the last meeting, and unless you reviewed the record, I'll take you through the Miranda requirement, then you would need to abstain on the proceeding.
Oh, okay. I thought because I had reviewed what the notes said that it had come out that I could still vote on that.
The notes. I mean, if you reviewed the videotape and all the written evidence, then you could vote on the order on evidence and the findings.
I did not do the video. I did go through all of the findings.
Okay, well, there's oral testimony as well. So I would recommend you abstain.
Okay, then I will abstain. Sorry about that.
No problem. Perfectly understandable. Sometimes it's difficult to understand exactly the proper course of action.
It's good to keep Evan on his toes, though.
Yes, thank you.
That's
We
right. Thank you.
We do appreciate it. So now we have the draft findings, conclusions, and order on LU 23-0002. And again, a preliminary draft of the findings, conclusions, and order were circulated in advance with the commissioner's review. Are there any suggested changes to the draft findings? Is there a motion?
I move that we accept the findings and conclusions for LU 0002.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion on the draft findings? If not, please call the roll of commissioners present.
Chair Arthur,
Yes.
Commissioner Sangri,
I think he's dropped off. I don't see him on the list.
Back on to approve. If we approve.
Yeah.
we'll continue through the list. Commissioner Dews,
Yes.
Commissioner Bates,
So I have to abstain this
Yes,
one as
abstain.
well, correct?
Correct.
Okay, yes, I am abstaining.
Commissioner Leake,
Yes,
Commissioner O'Connor,
Yes.
Have we been able to reconnect with Commissioner Sangri?
we do have 4
Yeah.
we have.
affirming.
So I'll take it then that the findings, conclusions in order as submitted on LU 23-0002 have been approved.
That's correct.
Any further comments, City Attorney?
No, well, I just will explain. It takes a majority of those present and eligible to vote, and eligibility, to Commissioner Bates's question, you have to have been in the proceeding. So while she counts for quorum purposes, which would be fine to determine but as far as the vote, it has to be a majority of those present and eligible to vote. That's fine.
Which I think we have achieved.
You do. You have 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So you'd have a majority nonetheless, even if everybody was here.
Thank you for that clarification. We'll now move ahead to the schedule review and management update. Anything to discuss?
Good evening, commissioners. I don't have, excuse me, any further updates for you. There are no upcoming hearings that I know of. The tree appeal for that Wembley Park project, that's going to go to the city council on February 6th. So you might want to keep an eye on that one. I'll let you know the outcome of that appeal hearing. Otherwise, nothing else is coming for the DRC, but I will let you know as far in advance as I can if anything does get scheduled.
One of those trees on Wembley came down.
Did it? What are the odds? Probably pretty high.
Any other business for tonight's meeting? If not, then we'll adjourn. Thank you all very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you all. Have a
Thank
good
you.
evening.
Thank you, Joanna. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Evan. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.